In this video, we're going to take you through completion percent invoicing and retention. Specifically, we're going to take a look at how to generate invoices. We're going to talk about retention. We'll go through refundable deposits, and lastly, we'll look at the invoice statement. Now, to begin, we're going to go ahead and create a job as we would any type of job here at the end of the estimates by clicking Create Job, and this box will then appear. From here, we're going to go ahead and select our completion percent invoicing method. And key point we like to make here is that while you can create the job at any point, it is very important to make sure you select the correct invoice statement for that job, just because once you create that job, there isn't a way to change the invoice method. Next up, we have that ability to calculate retention for the contract, and you can turn this off or on. And same thing as before, it's important to make sure that you're clear about this step as to what the contract will require, because we can't change the retention once the job has been created. So in this example, I'm just going to leave it as the default here. So 10% per invoice up into a 5% of the total, and I'm going to exclude change orders. And once we've done that, we're going to click OK. And from there, we're going to go ahead and tell Buildxact that the estimate has now been accepted. Now for the completion percent jobs, we're going to go to outgoing invoices. And the first thing we're going to see is we have the ability to create a refundable deposit. Now this will be a singular refundable deposit that essentially allows you to raise, again, the refundable deposit for the job. Once you've created this, you'll then be able to apply a credit back to future outgoing invoices up until you've completely exhausted this outgoing invoice. Next up, we're going to go ahead and add another invoice in now. So we're going to create our first invoice. We're going to go ahead and either click the blue text or the green plus button. They both do the same thing. And from here, we're going to give it a name. So this might be my September invoice. And then from here, we'll see then all of our different actual costings categories. And from here, we could either click this little green button, and that'll then allocate the entire remaining amount into the particular claim. I then have the ability to also manually enter in the claim amount I want, or I can also do it as a percentage here. So again, Buildxact gives you a fair bit of flexibility as to how you're going to go ahead and create these. But nonetheless, once you've worked through each of the different cost categories and raised your invoice, we can go ahead and go save and close. That'll then raise our first one. Key point I want to make here, though, is that you're not able to raise another invoice until the first one has been marked as invoiced. So just as a quick note there. But let's go ahead and pop that open and change this to invoiced. And we're going to go save and close, and we'll take a quick look at what this invoice looks like. Perfect. And just like that, you can see our first completion percent invoice. So here you can see that this is the total amount, and this is what has been claimed. Currently, because this is our first one, there's zero claim to date, but essentially here we have that ability to demonstrate what is being claimed against each of those cost categories for this first invoice. And from there, once the client has paid us, we're going to pop that open and now change the status from invoice to received, and Buildxact will confirm exactly how much they've paid. In this case, we'll say, yep, that's correct. Save and close. And save and close again. Now we have the ability to create our second invoice. And from here, you'll see that there is then going to show how much has been claimed on that particular category. So we basically can continue on to create our subsequent outgoing invoices for this completion percent job. Perfect. Now, next up, you have the ability to create the retention invoice as well. So you can go ahead and click the plus button, and you have that ability to enter in all this information here. So again, pretty straightforward and follows a pretty standard format in Buildxact around creating of the retention invoices. And the final thing I want to quickly show you here is clicking under the cog. We have the ability to also print off the invoice statement. It's a very handy document that we know gets used quite a bit, as it gives you and your client just a good snapshot in terms of what each of the invoices are, how much has been claimed for them, and the current status of any money owing. And that's completion percent invoicing.